Hello and welcome to 4-4 News. I'm Adam Wilbourn from What Culture Football. He's Adam Clery from
I am
What
called
Culture
that.
Football.
That's fair enough. Yes, that's good.
And coming up, we have some huge news about David Luiz's potential transfer to Arsenal.
We've got the latest on Dybala to Spurs because you're not sick of hearing about that.
Leicester have another deadline day signing lined up.
We've got the latest on Neymar leaving PSG because you're not sick of hearing about that.
And West Ham have signed yet another striker.
We've got the latest on Scott Carson to Man City because you're not... Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, that one's there.
But first, let's find out Lukaku has signed Romelu Lukaku.
This is why you're the best in the business.
Thank you very much.
Lukaku. Lukaku.
It's been reported that Inter Milan have reached an agreement with Man United to sign Romelu Lukaku for a fee that could rise all the way up to £74 million.
Right, I'm sorry, right? I'm sick of this. This is the third time this has happened this summer, right? Where there's a big transfer mooted at the very beginning, and they go round and round and round the houses for fees in different clubs, and then right at the end they go, oh, we'll just buy him for the... It's Harry Maguire again. Like, oh, we want him for 85 million. Oh, absolutely categorically, we are not paying 85 million for Harry Maguire. Would you accept 65? No. Fast forward to 2 days before the end of the window. I will be giving you 85 million for Harry Maguire then. So after all the Juventus stuff, after everything, after him going all over the world to all these different clubs, he's finally just going to go to Inter for the fee Inter offered to pay for him at the start of the window.
Yes, they initially offered 54 million. Obviously, this isn't 74 million. Is dependent on several factors.
I hate football, me.
But I like the fact that Inter were like 54 million. Man United were like 74 million. 54 million.
No.
74 million. 74 million. Yeah, you've got yourself a deal.
Yeah.
Apparently, Man United, of course, wanted to recoup. I think there's £75 million that they paid for Lukaku when they bought him from Everton.
Why do they want 74 million back
Just
then?
close enough. It's close enough. Of course, Romelu Lukaku's been training over in Anderlecht.
It's been a weird one. It's been a weird summer for him.
Yeah, it's been a weird summer for Man United fans.
It's been a weird summer for football in general, but I almost sympathise with Man United. I saw a tweet today being like, look, Bolton haven't got a club and Coventry haven't got a ground and Bury haven't got... Look, and so how can you feel sympathy for Man United? Because it's all relative. It's all relative. I suppose this is, by their stretch, a bit of a problem. We're going to have this big, ambitious summer where they're going to go out and they're going to buy all these different players, and they've gone and bought a right back. I keep saying they didn't really need a right back, and people in the comments get really angry about, how can you say that?
Ashley Young's terrible.
All I'm saying is, if you've got that much money to spend on a problem area of your side, having somewhere where you have one established player, your club captain, and another young prospect, probably not the most urgent area. You don't actually have to wet your knickers when I say that you don't need to buy a right back, but it wasn't a problem area. Daniel James comes in, could be great, but probably not going to be an immediate first team player. And then Harry Maguire, a good buy.
Yeah.
It's certainly an upgrade on what they've got at centre back, but not a dramatic one. They've not gone out and bought a Van Dijk type thing.
No,
so,
I still don't get over people going so crazy over that fee though. It is ridiculous, but it's just modern day football. To Man United, it's just
I keep saying this as well. People were doing their nutted over 80 million for Van Dijk, but you look back at that last summer and it seems like a bit of a bargain. Realistically, they should have paid maybe a bit more than that. If they paid 150 million for him, the season he had, people would have been like, oh, actually, fair enough, maybe he was just about worth that. So you sort of look at that in the context of it, and then look at what they paid for Maguire. It's probably what 85 million of centre-back gets you these days.
It's just numbers on a computer.
It is just numbers. It's not our money anyway, so we don't really care.
No, exactly.
So after all that, he's just going to go to Inter, and there's no...
We said a long time ago that it's in the Italian sort of game does probably suit Romelu Lukaku.
Yes.
A little bit
a man
better.
who plays in jeans,
Indeed.
as he's known. Yes, that's a good one. That does, of course, bring to an end the whole Man United going in for Dybala debacle, which we've reported on every single day for the last 2 weeks of my life. But hope springs eternal, because if you did want to have him in your fantasy league team, code for the league now appearing on screen, I hope, you can, because him and every other available young player in Europe are going to Spurs today.
Yeah, when you sent me this news story and it said like Tottenham tried to sign blah 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 blah, I thought, oh, he hasn't put the other the players are signing for, but they're all signing for Tottenham.
It looks today Tottenham are going to complete. This is deadline day, we should probably point out. Hence why we're all wearing our yellow ties.
And my birthday.
In your image, congratulations on that, by the way. Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham going there. And Giovanni Lo Celso, he's also going there. They're both for 25 and I think 25 and 55 million respectively from Fulham and Real Betis. So they've bought those two today. By the looks of it, they're expected to sign for Spurs. But on top of that, they're looking to complete a deal for 64 million for Dybala. and giving him 350. Well, his wages at Juventus are currently £350,000 per week, and the agents' fees and the image rights and whatever are going to be an extra 12 million on top of this, which is apparently one of the things that was putting off Man United. So, and I've done my maths here, right? They went and got Ndombele for 55 million. Right. They got Josh Clark for 10 million, right? So if they get Dybala in for 65, right?
Right.
And Sessegnon in for 25, and Lo Celso in for 55. That takes their summer spending to 210 million. However, that's fine because it's been offset by the sale of Kieran Trippier for 20 million, and also Jensen for about 7 million. So that's around about 190 million. Spurs who historically don't spend money and just keep their squad together and do all this. They could be adding Sessegnon, Lo Celso, and Dybala today on top of Ndombele for around 200 million.
Does that put them in the picture as title contenders more so? We said if they could sign some big players and retain, more importantly than that, retain the ones that they've got.
I will say, currently, I still can't look anywhere past Man City because I think they've been quite fortuitous in the amount of players they've had away this summer and the kind of players who've got. The majority of their squad have had a good rest this summer compared to Liverpool. And they've strengthened the areas they really need to strengthen. We're still talking they might get a left back in if they don't think Zinchenko's quite ready, but they've strengthened in the centre of midfield. It looks like they're just going to sweep up the title. But I would say if I was Liverpool, knowing that your front three have all been away for large parts of the summer and you've not really strengthened your side in the areas where it looked like you could have done with a little bit of extra cover. And they're letting two of their young players go apparently today on loan. So that's weakening them further, even if only a little bit. I would look at Spurs right now and I think maybe could be Man City's closest challengers. You would think if you're going to spend 200 million in the same summer where you don't offload anybody, because as yet Eriksen hasn't left, all the talk of players going out, as yet none of them have gone, you would hope that means you're going to challenge?
Yeah.
If I was a Spurs fan, I'd be really disappointed if they don't.
Early season prediction for you right now. If those three transfers go through and they don't lose any players, as you just mentioned, Tottenham are going to win a trophy this season. Ooh. I don't know what. And also, if that doesn't happen by the end of the season, I'll say, well, I also include the Asia Cup in that one. So, covering my arse. Right, let's talk now.
The Fair Play Award.
about David Luiz.
Oh, let's.
He is apparently off to Arsenal for £8 million. The Mirror are reporting this, that they've agreed this deal. Of course, the Brazilian refused to train and looked to force through a move to Arsenal. He was doing a bit of a wingy yesterday, wasn't he? Yeah.
He was like, he's gone on strike because he wants to force through a move to Arsenal, who have not bid for him. No. Which I thought was quite funny.
Of course, Unai Emery used to work with David Luiz when he was at PSG, which suggests one of the reasons why he wants to move there. But everyone seemed to say that Chelsea would not sell because, of course, they can't buy anyone to replace him.
They've obviously lost Gary Cahill. I say lost. They've let Gary Cahill go quite happily on a free this summer. They thought his time at the club was up. I know they've got Christensen. He's good, but they're not exactly flush for centre backs at the minute, are they?
I suppose it's one of those.
Zuma?
I suppose it's one of those where, if he doesn't want to play for you, there's not a lot you can really do. And obviously, Arsenal are looking to plug that gap left by the man who made Simon Miller's head explode when he saw that Bordeaux video, Lauren Koscielny.
All those flavours. When you support a good club, there's so many flavours of ice cream you could choose. Why salty? It's a disgrace. He's taken a top off and revealed another top.
My favourite is always comes out whenever someone does a sort of shock move like that is, right, that's it, I'm going to burn the shirt. Oh, it doesn't really burn this.
They're not flammable. They're not flammable because they're selling to kids. They're not flammable.
Strangely
enough. It's an odd one. Weirdly, still nobody's talking about Arsenal as title contenders, even though they're going to have a front line of because they always talk about Ozil going to MLS to replace Rooney at DC United. That was a story yesterday, but as yet he hasn't. He's still a very useful player. So Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil, Calabello, so always get the L's and the Y's the wrong way around with his name. Pepe, their front line is extraordinary.
And a defender who doesn't like to defend.
And a defender who can score 35-yard goals.
It's going to be the maddest season.
Obviously I can't support Newcastle anymore because I just have to support that Chinese club that Rafa Benitez has got. But my Premier League side this year might actually end up being Arsenal.
Did you see the clip of them? I think he was playing Barcelona the other day, and they scored this outrageous, lovely passing, flowing goal, and someone tweeted, is this like the old Arsenal back? And then they showed the clip of the Maitland-Niles OG later on in that game. I'm oh no.
Yes, it is, but not the old Arsenal, just the old Arsenal Fighters. It's a mad one, this. nice to see a transfer saga run 24 hours to conclusion.
Yeah.
As opposed to, seamless link, Neymar. Now, there's no need for us to rush this story because, of course, it's only the English transfer window that closes today, your birthday. But the Italian one, the French one, and the Spanish one, they run until the 31st of August. Sorry, Serie A runs till the 18th of August, but La Liga, Liga, and the Bundesliga all run through till the 31st of August. So there's no rush on this one. But it looks like, I've heard all summer, Neymar's going to go back to Barcelona. He wants to get out of PSG. He wants to go back to Barcelona. So we're expecting to see Neymar back at Barcelona. Doesn't matter how many players Barcelona have bought, we're expecting to see Neymar back at Barcelona. Well, news today, Neymar's off to Real Madrid. Neymar's off to Real Madrid in 110 million plus Luka Modric transfer from PSG.
Wow.
Goes Real Madrid, very publicly. Obviously, Ronaldo left last summer. Hasn't really been replaced, you'd say. Bale's been frozen out at the side. He may or may not go somewhere, but either way, not going to really be replaced. So, given the disastrous pre-season they've had, with the injuries mounting up and up and up and up, Asensio's going to be out for ages, it looks like they're going to plug that gap by buying Neymar.
By getting rid of Modric.
By getting rid of Modric. Now, to be fair, Modric is 33. His time at the club is allegedly starting to wind down. Although I always look at this stat. He got 46 games for them last year, so clearly a very important part of what they do. They're gonna look to get Neymar in now.
Ever reliable Neymar.
Do you know he never played more than 28 games for PSG a season? He's been there 2 years. But given that they go really far in all the French Cup competitions, both of them, and they've been getting to the latter stages of the Champions League and all the league games, there's about 50, 60 games there for someone to play. He's been playing about half of them.
Well, he always is off on his sister's birthday.
He can't be arsed, can he? Yeah.
Whenever it's his sister's birthday.
Oh, is this your theory that him and his sister are really close?
Too close.
Really close,
Too close for me.
Still, though, 51 goals in 58 appearances in 2 years, which, granted, 51 goals in 2 seasons is fine. It's just if he was playing all the games he could play, he should have scored about 100 goals.
I still, as much as I think that's shocking that he didn't play more games, that image of him sat in the crowd when Man United stole one against PSG and he was just like, that was your face when you saw the monthly podcast stats after I'd filled in for you for 2 weeks, wasn't it? And they were up, what was it? They were up 30%. 30%
for revenue and listenership.
Yeah, something
funny
like
that. Weird coincidence. Anyway, this is only currently being reported by the Spanish press. So obviously I did my usual thing of translating the article as well as I could. But of course, because the poetry of language is so beautiful, there are things that just don't exist between one language and another. Like, expressions are weird. You know what I mean? There's loads of English expressions. Like shoes on the other foot, for example. You don't get that in other languages. No. So if you translated that and you're Johnny Foreigner, you're going to be like, the shoe was on the other foot. Anyway, lovely expression in the middle of this.
Go on.
PSG have been making the partridge dizzy with Barca.
What?
PSG have been making the partridge dizzy with Barca. I think it means like taking them around the garden path, taking them around the houses.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just
I think we should adopt
going
that
round
one.
and round and round. But they've been making the partridge dizzy. So I'm going to try and keep that one. Anyway, so yeah, Neymar, Real Madrid. Right, may or may not happen.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, today is transfer deadline day.
It's slam shut, Adam Wilbourn. It never closes.
No.
It's slam shut.
What time?
5 p.m.
Excited.
Slam shut. We have a thing to tell you about that later on, but crack on for now.
Because Leicester are looking for another transfer deadline day signing. Apparently, Sky Sports are reporting there after Sampdoria's Belgian midfielder, Dennis Pret.
Yeah.
Pret. Let's hope they don't make a Pret of themselves. £18 million they're looking at for him. Leicester really looking strong going into this season.
Name rings bells. Dennis Pret. Oh, yeah. Going to Leicester, who are quite good, ambitious Premier League. Yes, you remember that name? That was it. Benitez wanted to sign him for half that price. I think it was last January. He was available for about 9 million. Funny one, that. Anyway, go on, you were saying?
So anyway, this highly talented Sampdorian midfielder...
I'm over it, though.
It's fine. Could be moving to Leicester for £18 million, as we mentioned there. And I think Leicester are looking one of the strongest sides outside the top 4.
One question we got asked on Twitter was if you could see any of the top 6 dropping out of the top 6, who could you see them replacing it? And we did this in the podcast where we looked at teams who could potentially be a bit of a dark horse at that end of the table. I think if Man United can't get their finger out, serious danger. Especially if, I know they don't want to use Lukaku all that much, but his massive goal burden on him not going to be replaced by the looks of it. I genuinely think Leicester could really give them a run for their money in that top 6.
They're looking.
Everton, Wolves, obviously the usual contenders, but Leicester are Tielemans is a great buy, Perez is a great buy. If they can bring someone in to replace Maguire, maybe a Dunk or a Tarkozy, someone like that, it would be great.
I suppose the thing is, what we've seen with them trying to replace Maguire is the prices being hiked because everyone knows they've just got an extra 80-odd million.
Hey, can we have your centre-back for 30 million? What's that in your pocket? 30 million? Looks a lot like 85 million to me.
Yeah.
No, it's 30. These are just new jeans.
So to get this midfielder for £18 million, like I said, when everyone knows how much money it costs, is a good buy.
Yeah, even, I mean, not great when he was available for 9 in January, apparently.
Let it go. Talk about the big banter
Right,
signing.
all right. Yeah, you want another big banter signing? This sagas this summer. Pogba this, Lukaku that, Neymar this, Bale that. We're sick of the same old names. And another one, I am so sick. One transfer saga that just seems to have run on and on and on is Man City's relentless pursuit of Scott Carson.
Is there a rule, right? If you're like one of the top Premier League sides,
You have to have a banter English.
you have to there's like a big wheel of just people you spin.
So Richard Wright,
Yeah.
Chris Kirkland,
It's like,
Ben Foster.
We have to sign someone to sit on the bench for the whole season.
I think it's to do with the English quota in the Champions League thing and the league regulations. You need a solid English presence there. They've let their other third choice goalkeeper go, whose name I forgot to write down. But sitting behind Ederson and Claudio Bravo on the bench, the really long bench for Man City this year, is apparently going to be Scott Carson. They're getting him on a season-long loan from Derby County.
Not bad, that is it.
Look, I've literally written down here, right, helps with the English player quota and, well, nice work if you can get it. I would quite happily. Speaking as a goalkeeper who qualifies for your British player quota, I would genuinely quite happily sit on Man City's bench as a third choice keeper.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I'll take that job
Look,
as well.
Scott,
I'm not even a goalkeeper.
he might get a bit of game time, Scott Carson. They like to rotate their goalies. Obviously, Bravo always plays all the cup games, Ederson plays all the league games. So there is potential for Carson to sit on the bench numerable times this season, maybe even get on the pitch. And the sight of Scott Carson trying to play out from the back the way Ederson does is going to be...
God.
Can't wait for that.
He's actually played pretty well for Derby from what I've been hearing. But
he's not a bad... Look, everybody remembers Scott Carson for throwing one into his own net against Croatia, but... He's not actually a bad goalkeeper, Scott Carson. He's picked himself up. Should we do the Twitter questions?
Well, very quickly, I will save that for my end. I'll save that for the end finally.
I'm going to try and rattle through these because we've let some of them build up, and I'm always saying if you want to submit your questions for these news videos at WhatCultureFC, please do submit them. We'd like having a nice bank of them. We'll try and rattle through them as quickly as possible. From, and I should have practiced this, Tinashe Tagore.
Breaking news, there's breaking transfer news. Come on in, Andy Murray.
Andy Murray's here with breaking news, I hope.
Hi, yes, it's a run-in. Have you just reported that Dybala's happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's off!
Yay!
According to David Ornstein of the BBC, who tweeted out about 14 minutes ago, Tottenham's proposed move for Paulo Dybala is off after Juventus ultimately decided not to sell the 25-year-old Argentina
They
forward.
don't want to sell him.
So
What are they doing?
do with that information whatever you please.
Thank you for that, Andy.
You are most welcome.
Want to say a quick shout out to everybody who's watched the 5 or 6 videos with either headlined or thumbnailed as Pablo Dybala in X move to Y club. Thanks for your time, and
I
obviously
just
thanks.
love the fact that after all this, Juventus have just gone.
Keep him, shouldn't we?
Actually, we don't
Should we
sell
keep him?
Yeah.
We're not getting Lukaku, so we should probably keep him. He's actually quite good.
Probably keep, yeah.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
from Daniel Fothergill asked, which of the big 6 teams in the Premier League do you think is in the most danger of losing that status, and who do you think will replace them?
Well, we mentioned Leicester.
I can't believe this Dybala. Yeah,
That's
for me, it's Man United dropping out and Leicester going in.
I think it could be Chelsea dropping out and Leicester going in.
With?
Because I think they've lost Hazard. If they lose Luiz, and they obviously can't bring anyone in, there's a lot of pressure.
But the loan army's come back.
Oh, I forgot.
Pulisic is back. Abraham's back. Mason Mount is back. Kurt Zuma.
Maybe.
I don't know, is he gone?
I
or is
don't
he
know.
just
I
back?
can't never remember if they sold him or not.
It's Frank Lampard's loan army this season.
I think it's going to go off the rails at Chelsea.
Look, genuinely, if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be quite excited by this season because you've had all these young, exciting players out for years. And obviously, the question mark you have in your mind is, when do we get them back? How do we bring them into the side? You've got Mason Mount, great season. Tammy Abraham's done relatively good things. Pulisic was obviously great in Germany. And now it's like, well, I ain't got a choice, you know what I mean? Like, they've all got to come back in. They've all got to play. Kennedy's back. Emerson's back. Like, you've got to make them all work for you.
I still think they're going to have issues for me ahead of someone like Man United. I think Man United might surprise a few people this season.
Right, great answer, really good. Yeah, Renegade Ping, either Renege Ping or Renegade Ping, not quite sure. Maybe accent your E's and feature it is Renegade. If you could go back in time and watch one game in the ground, which would it be? For him, it's because he's a Liverpool fan. It's the 05 final.
I was about to say that. the 3-3. Yeah, I feel like
just so you could lump on Liverpool at half time.
Yeah, exactly. What other games would I like to go back and watch? I loved watching. Well, at the time I was a Man United fan, as everyone was where I came from when they were 8. I love watching the '99 Champions League final, Man United Bayern Munich. But it was only really the last few minutes you want to be there, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about you? I know the game I want to be at the ground for. because I feel like I'm not sure if you were there. Oh no, I know you were knocking around for it, but I think you were in London. The 4-4 Arsenal-Newcastle.
Yeah.
That looked wild.
I lived in North London and I went to a pub in Highbury to watch it with a load of Arsenal fans who were, I will say, not gracious at half time, but I wouldn't pick that because I wouldn't change how I watched that.
No.
Because me running into the middle of the street in Islington with a
great.
pint in my hand, getting down on my knees in the middle of the road while cars were beeping at me, I wouldn't change. I would, however, like to go to Rotterdam when...
Or anywhere.
Liverpool or Rome,
Yep.
when Newcastle got through the first round of the group stage in the Champions League. Bellamy scored in the last minute.
Yeah.
I would love to go to that. Rotterdam for me.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And finally, Zach Holker asked, if a buyer invested over 100 million in a previous Premier League team, for example, Bolton or, I can't read that one, something Deland, I can't read it, what areas should they invest in?
Ooh. So
Large wage players failed in the past for Fulham, etc. So you can't just go and buy big players. How would you do it?
I feel...
Oh, firstly, what club?
Yeah, it's difficult to think of what sleeping
100
giants...
million doesn't get you a whole lot these days,
No.
does it?
I don't know. My mind
Nottingham
automatically
Forest?
leapt to someone. Yeah, one of the old sort of classic teams. Maybe a Leeds. Maybe Leeds. I feel like Leeds are one step away. Leeds.
You put 100 million in Leeds, Bielsa will just spend it on like cigars and hooers, won't he?
And spying.
And spying.
Yeah. We need some bigger binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Leeds are always one step away. Sunderland, I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. That feels tainted. And despite being enjoying Bolton when they were in the Premier League and had all the weird random Ivan Campos, Yuri Djorkaevs, JJ Okochas, it feels like they are in real trouble right now, and 100 million wouldn't do
Genuinely,
much.
and I apologise to any Bolton fans who say this. I really dislike Bolton because by complete coincidence, the day Newcastle the first time they went down under Ashley, somebody linked me to a Bolton message board forum where like 3 Bolton fans were laughing about Newcastle going down. Just 3. And ever since I've been like, hate Bolton.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do a
Bolton.
topic on like reasons.
It's genuine.
Ridiculous reasons you hate
purely
clubs.
because of those 3 fans. And
Yeah.
I meet other Bolton fans who are lovely and genuinely, objectively, it's absolutely shocking what's happening to them. But I'm always like, now the hell do they?
Oh, it's former Premier League teams. I was going to say sleeping giants that could do with 100 million.
Chesterfield
really could do with that. Big draw against Maidenhead this week.
Well done.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally, because it gives me a chance to break out these stats again, because West Ham have signed another bloody striker. Another one. They've signed Albion Aheti from FC Basel for an undisclosed fee. He joins on a 4-year contract. He's scored more than 40 goals over the past 3 seasons and is considered to be one of European football's most promising young centre-forwards. I know you're thinking, where have I heard that before with West Ham United? Well, this list of all the strikers they've signed under the Gold Sullivan regime, and all of those, we mentioned this in the past, but it's astonishing.
Shocking, isn't it?
This isn't like, I haven't made the text really big. This is 2 full pages.
Every centre forward and their shocking goal records.
Andy Carroll, 34 and 142. Ricardo Vazte, the guy.
No, you're doing this all wrong, man. Benny McCarthy, none in 13.
Yes.
Mido, none in 9. Pablo Barrera, none in 23. Brian Montenegro, none in 1.
Marouane Chamakh, none in 3. Mladen Petric, none in 4.
Borrellino, none in 2. Gordon, none in 9. Nene, none in 8. Martinez, none in 3.
Simone Zaza, who's the one the weird run up at the penalty
Yeah.
in the World Cup or in European Championships, none in 11.
Clery. What? Clery? I should start using him on FIFA when I make my own player. 1 in 19.
Like Arnautovic, obviously 22 and 65. Javier Hernandez, 16 and 61. But the majority of these
Shocking.
are names you
Minging.
go, oh, they sound good. They sound like European football's most promising young centre-forwards. And then this.
Well done, West Ham.
Ridiculous.
Stop wasting our time.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe and send us Twitter questions at WhatCultureFC. And
We will be back at 4 p.m. today for a live stream of the final hour of the transfer window. Please do join us for that, and of course tell all your friends about it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting a call. I've got an agent.
Agent on the phone, have you? Yep,
Our
great.
What Culture sources.
Yep, great.
Ah?
So we'll be back for that between 4 and 5.
Dybala's back on now. They
Oh, is
apparently
it?
have changed their
great.
mind
Yeah, I'll
again.
change the headline again. So do join us for that between 4 and 5. We'll be live streaming everything with a little bit of a roundup afterwards as well.
Thank you very much for watching. You can follow him on Twitter at
Adam Clery, Clery.
You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilbourn. As I said, you can follow us all at What Culture FC. And make sure you subscribe to What Culture Football on wherever you get your podcasts from for daily football podcasts. My thanks to Adam Clery. Thank you for watching. Thanks to Paulo Dybala for just keeping us entertained for the last few weeks, and we'll see you soon.